sort of lined up with my situation where I'm starting to see the cracks in streaming at the moment, and how that system is sort of not too rewarding for the artists that have built up those platforms.
Can you guys like talk to me about like the new single? Like, is there something you would like your fans to know before it gets out there?
Yeah. Well, I know that like some people probably already have heard the track. You know, it came out as there was a competition last year in lockdown that Duan was a part of, and he was a producer for the week with the Get Down events. And he had 2 beats for artists all over Melbourne, or I guess the world really, because it was an online competition to rap over. And I decided to rap over his Button Masher beat that he put up. And I happened to win.
Killed it. What happened to he just murdered that.
Yeah, you know, like that's what he says. So I ended up winning that part of the competition. And then you know, we kind of been back and forth over the past year just talking about, you know, I feel like even though it did kind of blow up the spot a little bit and there was some attention around it, we still felt like there was a market that we still had to that we could still tap into if we cleaned it up a little bit. So that's basically what we've done. And you know, we polished it up, shined it up real nice, and now we're putting it out into the world officially. And
still keeping it like an ode to like the underground here in Melbourne, like that sort of hip hop scene. It's like, you know, that's truly where we come from. The people that support us, the people that we collaborate with. It's coming from the heart of that spirit and the heart of that culture, which is what I still love about this song so much in its simplest form.
100%. It was like a happy accident. And
So did you guys like ever cross paths before?
Yeah, we have. If you don't mind, I'll take this one.
I'll let you get that.
Cheers. So I was at the All Corners event by New Wave Infinity, where they organized like a little like granny house. There's just empty rooms with like speakers and like an aux cord or whatever, so everyone can just jump on in, make some music. And I remember I had a broken leg at that time, so I was in crutches and the, what do you call it, the moon boot. And I remember just making this beat. It's on the album actually, Old Corners, and it's called I'm With the Gang. And I just made this stupidly, you know, fat 808 beat. And then ridiculous. I remember like a bunch of you guys just walked in and just started like
we were just like, whoa, what the hell is this, man? Hey,
and I've already
put out their phone.
I remember leaving that room and just to like, you know, take a breather outside, you know, me huddling, you know, waddling over with my moon boot and shit. But that was my first time meeting Nomad. And when I first heard his bars, I was like, yo, what the fuck? Like, because it was good for such an experience like that, where you get to meet so many new talents during that whole week of music creation. It was incredible. And it was just so it was first time meeting Nomad, but first time actually I felt like going back onto the underground is like where we got to meet many other people, and it almost like, I would say it really formed a sort of bond of family within the music scene, which is insane.
So how has, like, do you guys feel like COVID has helped you with that like polishing process that you were mentioning?
I hadn't really thought about it too much, but in a way, if COVID hadn't have happened, then I don't think that competition would have happened online, and I would have even had an opportunity to, you know, hear that beat and lay something over it. So yeah, in a way it's helped, but at the same time, I know that there's a lot of us in the scene that are longing to recapture that feeling of those sessions that Duan was talking about, the old corner sessions, and shout out to New Wave Infinity too, because yeah, that's it. Someday we'll have to get back in, get that sort of thing happening again.
And, how has it affected you guys, like in the past? So like, I feel like I was going to say a year, but it's like now 2 years nearly, as artists.
Yeah.
Like, has it changed how you approach your music?
I would say, honestly, first up, the lockdown forces you to reflect because you're spending a lot of time just indoors. And with that time of reflection, at least how I've kind of taken it was to improve myself further and to see the things that are kind of like missing in my life, the things that I needs improvement in my life, what I need to tidy up. And in doing so, by tidying up my whole life and everything, so does your music, because your music creation, your music taste, everything, like when it comes to music, they say it's like, you're putting your soul out there into in a work of art. And so then you got to think is like, then what sort of soul are you in the first place? And that's the thing is like throughout this COVID experience, it is that sort of practice of improving yourself, improving the soul. And in doing so, you naturally improve the creative quality, or even just straight up, like for me, especially as a producer, I've realized that my sort of mixing mastering quality is really, my production quality along with my creative quality has really started to blend together a lot more fluidly compared to before the pandemic. And even like before the pandemic, I was going around doing sessions with everyone I can. And I realized, like, listening back to all the music, I was like, oh, wow, all my production was very bland. Like, I was kind of like treating it, I wasn't putting love into it. Whereas now I'm like, okay, I'm having to cut back on sessions, but also like working with, when I'm working with someone, I'm like, all right, I'm not going to cram you in with some other people at the same time. Like, I'm going to give you 100% of my creative energy now. Something that I've learned from the pandemic was, it's to not just hustle, but to slow down and consolidate your efforts and just like, like a spearhead, jab it through and project it to the world in one quick, swift action.
So obviously with this whole different approach now to music, so what has drawn you guys to like NFTs? Like, is the current tech that's out there, is that not like fulfilling a need? Is this why you're going to like, NFTs can actually really help us?
100%. All right, let me try and unpack this. Because there's so many different dynamics that one was just the main thing for me was curiosity and wanting to do an NFT, and then this platform became available, and there were so many things that led to me thinking, why not just do it? One of them being that you're based in Melbourne. That's always going to be a win in my book. And then on top of that, just the rise in the trend of NFTs, like over the past year, I think the first time I ever heard of an NFT was when Saturday Night Live did a skit with Pete Davidson about, what's an NFT, and Jack Harlow was in it, and, just random stuff like that. I still didn't understand what it was. That sort of started it for me and planted the seed. And then my Uncle Rob, shout out Uncle Rob, who you've met, Emmanuel, he's always in my ear about Bitcoin and stuff and cryptocurrency. I shouldn't say always, but he was the one that brought Bitcoin into my life in a way, and cryptocurrency. And so when NFTs came out and he started, researching them himself, he was keeping me up to date with all the latest news about that. And it sort of lined up with my situation where I'm starting to see the cracks in streaming at the moment, and how that system is sort of not too rewarding for the artists that have built up those platforms. You know what I mean? You see these stories with Spotify and like things like how Taylor Swift is having to re-record all of her old songs so that she can own her masters again, so that she can, you know, receive the full royalties that she's entitled to, even though she'd already, you know, all those demos that she's recorded, she's redoing again. You know, all these stories just were starting to come out. So I was like, all right, let me pay a little bit more attention to this. And just to touch on that a little bit further, did you know it takes 229 streams on Spotify to make $1? And it's just things like that have, like, you know, it's kind of forcing artists to be a little bit more resourceful. And what I like about NFTs is that you know, it is sort of moving in the same direction as, you know, the whole DeFi currency situation, you know, where people are investing in cryptocurrency because they see that as the future. Is like, you know, the current economy is liable to collapse in the future. And so they're trying to be resourceful in that sense and invest in crypto so that they can move with the times, if that makes sense. And so I see NFTs as a sort of something that will eventually be a necessity for artists. At the moment, it sort of has that novelty too of being something brand new to the music scene in the way that like CDs were new when cassettes were still a thing. You know, so yeah, I see that. I see an opportunity here to, yeah, just ride that wave a little bit and explore something new, which, you know, that sort of, once again, it goes back to curiosity, like I said at the start. And, you know, I'm excited to see how it works and learn more about it as we uncover those things. And, you know, just help build up a platform like Tremors to, you know, while we're trying to build as well, you know. And
I mean, it's also
that's
like
it in a nutshell.
I was gonna say, like, also like COVID has also brought this to light, right? Because like suddenly artists can no longer make revenue from live performances. They rely heavily on like maybe selling merch and selling, you know, if they have any like Bandcamp maybe, but then they, you know, like that digital space has never actually really paid artists, and it's really shown, like it's put that spotlight on it. And so before people were like, well, I don't care because I'm like, Spotify is allowing me to maybe get gigs, but now Spotify is not paying me and I'm not getting gigs. So now people are, you know, as you say, be resourceful and looking at other options. To like the person, like the fan who has like never heard of an NFT, like how would you describe it to them? Like what are they doing? They're going onto Tremors, they're buying your latest single. It's an NFT. What exactly does that mean to them?
Yeah, so this is important, and if you are watching this, fans, or you know, all our followers and supporters, you know, the difference between an NFT and just streaming our song on streaming platforms is that you got to look at it like a baseball card, you know, like something that's limited edition. There's only going to be a certain amount of copies and things like that, so it's got the exclusivity of it. So if you're buying one of our copies of Takeoff, then you're supporting us even more, and you actually own something that's like, you know, it's exclusive and it can be traced back and it has its own serial code or something like that. I'm sure like Emmanuel could explain it a lot better, but you know, it's that exclusivity of it. And you know, you got to think of it like a classic, like an old Jackie Robinson 1 of 10 sort of thing, or an old Michael Jordan card made by whoever makes basketball cards, and like there's only 5 copies in the whole world. So yeah, that's how I sort of look at it.
So yeah, it's about bringing in all those cool little aspects of new tech to your fans.
And again, if I can piggyback off of that too, like, you know, another reason why I see Tremors as such a valuable platform for our scene in particular, is the fact that, you know, we are musicians first and foremost. Like me personally, I'm not an expert in cryptocurrency or NFTs at all. And so what I like about how Tremors has its own currency that's a bit more stable than something like Ethereum, you know, it's a much safer space to introduce yourself to NFTs than actually jumping into something that's, you know, Ethereum based just straight off, you know, like rather than jumping right in the deep end, you sort of just dip your toes in a little bit. And that's how I see Tremors as a much safer platform. And that's what I'm excited about too. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're excited to share it all with everyone. Just throw it in. Just throw it in. Cool. Did you guys?
No paid promotion, nothing. I'm sorry.
Sweet. I think that kind of like touches on. Do you guys want to add like any final words, like dates when it's going to be coming out, how you want to, you know, anything you want to say?
Yes. So I'll just finish off by saying that the song will be available. Take Off by Nomad and Duan will be available on all streaming platforms on the 10th of September. But we will be doing an NFT run on the 27th of August. So keep your eyes peeled for that. We'll have announcements out soon.